Of the nodes and as a collective. We've been talking about this a lot in the ISFM in our morning group, that we need to make room for what's coming in, because what's coming in is not what we're used to, and we have to be open to that change. And what is it with most people? We resist change, because it's fear. We'd rather stick with what we know, even if it's toxic sometimes, because we know how to navigate that. Toxic is familiar, and as sick as that sounds, we tend to do that a lot of times as people. It's like, because people are like, why do people always go back to their ex? Or why do they stay in that bad relationship? Because, again, with these weird word analogies, the devil you know is better than the devil you know.
Do you feel something huge on the horizon?
Oh, absolutely. We're in for very big changes with the changes of the nodes and as a collective. We've been talking about this a lot in the ISFM in our morning group, that we need to make room for what's coming in, because what's coming in is not what we're used to, and we have to be open to that change. And what is it with most people? We resist change, because it's fear. We'd rather stick with what we know, even if it's toxic sometimes, because we know how to navigate that. Toxic is familiar, and as sick as that sounds, we tend to do that a lot of times as people. It's like, because people are like, why do people always go back to their ex? Or why do they stay in that bad relationship? Because, again, with these weird word analogies, the devil you know is better than the devil you know.
Welcome everybody to Witchcraft TV Tarot Monday edition with Joanne, Mind, Body, and Soul. And I am the lone wolf, Babyface Carter.
And I am Joanne. Silly girl with the cards. I'm running our collective card pull for tonight. I did switch decks on that. The Dreamweaver Oracle seems to want to send us a message. So let's see what the Dreamweavers have to say for us.
Very cool.
Yes. Oh. This one fell out. When the weavers call your heart. And I like this card a lot. It's got like the Hamsa in there. It's got the heart. And if you look, you can see a face in the heart, and you have all these things around it. Almost reminds me of the Wheel of Fortune. And what does the Wheel of Fortune say to us? It tells us that now the wheel turns, right? Sometimes it turns in our favor. Sometimes it doesn't, but it always turns. And now is the time, the Dreamweavers are saying, to start to build the new that you want to see out there in the world. That is what the Dreamweavers do. What do Dreamweavers do? They take your dreams and they weave them into reality, or vice versa, right? They manifest our, they take our reality and incorporate it into our dreams to give us messages. So very powerful message here. I like it too, because it also reminds me of a turtle, if you look at it, turtle. In a weird kind of a way. And me with my turtles and turtle medicine, which is another message to remind people that, the objective in life is not to do a whole bunch of things really, really fast and, accrue the accomplishments that way. Slow and steady often wins the race. Focus on your passion. I mean, look at the color of the card. To me, that says fire. That says brilliance, right? It says it's energy, that Mars energy. Mars just went direct, so now is the time to take what we've reflected on and go forward, with a new vision, and, keep that vision bright. Very good card. So that is the Dreamweaver's message for tonight for the collective.
I like it. Dreamweaver.
Great song too, absolutely.
Yeah, so Joanne has a master's degree in psychology. She is doing oracle readings tonight. And you said Mars is direct again? Or is it the same Mars direct?
It's the same Mars that just went direct, but it is direct after a long period of being in retrograde where our energy felt stagnant, like we weren't accomplishing anything, and just we had ideas, we were reviewing them, we were working on them, but there didn't seem to be any momentum.
Marianne Clark from Ghost House Paranormal, New Jersey, I think. What's happening? Glad to see you, Mary Meet. Welcome to the Witchcraft TV Tarot. We're doing readings and oracles, and I kind of cut off Joanne just now, but I just wanted to welcome you.
No, absolutely. Welcome. But I don't know. I lost my train of thought, but that's okay. It must not.
Well, I know that we were definitely talking about Dreamweavers, and
Yes.
I also asked about Mars direct, if it's still direct.
And we are coming into Aries season soon as well.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
That's it. Well, Aries gives you that push. What is Aries? Energy, right? Fire. They're quick manifestors, right?
Shout out to Lavola, Mary Meet. Thanks for coming to
Hi, Lavola. Some people say that their Aries is quick manifestation energy, but it has a tendency to fizzle out as well, because Aries they act really quick sometimes. You know what I mean? It's and that's not a bad thing. You know what I mean? They're the ones that take those leaps of faith. You know, whereas I'm a Taurus Gemini cusp, and I sit there and I need to kind of methodically observe and see before I, I go more slow and like a turtle. Slow and steady wins the race. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think that's just part of human nature in general, because we have that knowledge of wanting to know what's going to happen, and we try to control that outcome. Right. And the universe tends to come back and slap us back into reality and say, nope, that's not going to happen. Your way is not what's going to happen.
In the chat room, Marianne says, I just got a very disturbing reading. And the first thing that pops into my head is that when readers read for you, the readings and discernment is just what's going to happen if you continue on the same path. So to me, when you get a reading, it kind of just gives you a heads up, and maybe you can alter what trajectory and path.
Yeah. There's also the people that do that because then it brings you back for more help for financial reasons. I don't know who your reader is, and that is not what I'm saying, but it is hard. I don't know.
I'm going to take this as that she's wanting a reading from you, Joanne. Tell me if I have very bad demonic and demon thoughts and a lot going to happen to me. So I'm going to take that as she's asking for an oracle reading.
Are you asking me about the thought? Well, she might be asking about the thoughts as well.
Mm-hmm. Keep in mind that Joanne has a master's degree in psychology and also a gifted oracle reader, has a great show called Joyful Empowerment. She also has Mind, Body, and Soul right here on Witchcraft TV on Monday. And she also is the co-host of Inside the Sacred Circle with the beloved Jim Sayers.
My bestie and partner in crime. And are you asking more on the psychological or?
I would assume probably.
First of all, are you hearing demonic voices at all or thoughts? Is this a thing that you're having?
Not really sure if they can get it in the comments quick enough. But she said that's what the other reader said, and I'm feeling it's the same thing. Where when you're dealing with people that are doing like tarot card readers or oracle readers or divination of any kind, osteomancy, whatever it may be, they're just telling you the trajectory if you continue on the same path that you're on. So kind of like a heads up.
Yeah, but I don't know about demonic thoughts. That's.
What Well, you are what you consumes and you think about all the time. If you're
Well, that's
constantly
why I'm
thinking,
asking, is this a thing for her, or is this just something that popped out and now she's terrified she's going to have demonic thoughts? I
hearing
have
and
been
talking to
hearing spirits
that.
since I was little. Are they
Mhm.
demonic? Are they, so you're intuitive, you're intuitively gifted. I don't see that as a bad thing. And, you have to be selective on what you invite into your energy as well. You have to think about that. Are you doing your protections? Are you being specific about the energy you want to work with? All these different things. And I don't mean to sound demeaning to you. I just don't know you.
So the question about I think the demonic thing, or she said no. So
Okay, so the spirits around you aren't demonic. You're intuitive. I think you would have already felt something was off. And sometimes, people, I don't want to say, don't let it get in your head. If that's not part of how you work and your belief, a lot of things, the belief we put into them is what happens. And now you're going to be hyper focused on that. And not you, the collective, you know what I mean? And you get hyper focused and you start to worry. And I'm not saying that you're making things happen, but it's adding to stress. But what it also does is, a lot of times these readers will come back with, well, I can help you with that. I have this that I can give you, and any practitioner worth your salt can tell, in any tradition will tell you that's not how they operate.
but she is
Okay.
asking for a reading, please. And
Okay, I will pull a card for you.
what I get is, tell me if I have very bad demonic and demon thoughts. A lot is going to happen to me.
I can't tell you that. I'm not a fortune teller, but I can tell you what you need to focus on to keep your vibration high and to keep away from feeling those things. You know what I mean? That's what I do. I am connecting with Mariana Clark and her spirit guides and ancestors. What message do they have for Marianne?
And after you give the reading, Joanne, I'd love to chime in just to talk to Marianne. I've known her for a very long time. She is a paranormal investigator, and she just loved it. And I just want to comment on that after you're done. But go ahead.
Oh, absolutely. I make way for miracles. And the work that you do, if you think about it, working with paranormal and being able to communicate to these spirits is very miraculous work. It involves, hearing lost voices that may have not been heard, validating stories that maybe never got told. And that's a powerful thing. And for me, what this is saying to me is look for the miracles, the good things. Don't look towards that negative, because I always say, and I can attest to this, that our outer world is a manifestation of what we have inside. So if you're focusing on those thoughts, you're going to draw more of that type of energy towards you. And especially if it's giving you fear, which as a paranormal investigator, what's the first thing they tell you? You can't be afraid, because that's who they'll gravitate to, So anything that's bad, they feed off of fear. And what I'm getting is, I'm not getting that you have to worry about demonic. I think you have good things coming towards you. This is a good card. I make way for miracles, and that is what you need to focus on. And when you start to think about what that guy said, say that's a bunch of baloney. I'm here to make miracles. I'm not here to bring out demons, and I don't think anything bad is going to happen to you. I think if anything, you're helping people, mediums that can communicate with spirits and people that do these paranormal things, they help people, you know, and to me, that's very good. And that's a very rare gift. It's a gift. It's not a curse. And I hope that helps you. But I'm not getting demonic vibe on my own off of you at all. So. Harold, you're on mute.
We welcome Kim to Mind, Body, and Soul Mondays, and we also welcome Lavola, who would like a reading too once you're finished with Marianne. And when we're finished with Marianne in the chat room says, I have been helping find missing children also.
Oh, well, my God.
I'm glad that
exactly.
You're doing that.
Yeah, I don't think you have to worry. No, I'm not getting that vibe. And I don't know about you, Harold. You said you know her. Do you get that vibe from her that she's, crossing into the dark side? I don't feel that.
No, I don't feel that at all. Hey, Stephanie, thanks for joining Mind, Body, and Soul. Yeah.
Hi, Steph.
Yeah, Marianne is a paranormal investigator, and when I worked on with a different platform, we had something called Witchcraft-tastic Trivia, where we had questions and prizes, and I'm pretty sure she won one of those. And
I remember when you did that. I think way in the back.
I never really get. I've never gotten like a demonic like feeling from her at all. Like
no.
When she asked this, kind of a surprising question. But what I will say is that
it threw me off. I'm like demonic. I'm like, whoa.
And she said she did win that. Yeah, I remember that. Hey, buddy, nice to have you on in the chat room and watching the show. Thanks so much for joining Mind, Body, and Soul. But with Marianne, if you're thinking about Judaic angels and demons, constantly, you're always thinking about things particularly in the Jewish mythology with Belial and Lilith and your archangels and all that. That's what you're going to get. That's what that's where your mind is. I
don't know. I study with Dr. Jeremy, and we don't focus just on those things. I think it's a balance, of dark and light, because you can't have light without dark. Can't have dark without light, right? So you got to balance those, our inner demons, whatever you want to call it. I think it's more of not acknowledging, because if you look at a lot of people that follow that Goetia path, just like any other deity, these entities have good and bad sides. And a lot of it is misconception on how we think that they practice. And, and that's, hopefully I'm hoping to get someone on that Goetia to come on my podcast and talk about those misconceptions about that spiritual path, because I don't think a lot of people understand it, that it just falls under demons, devil worship. You need an exorcism. They're different than working with a deity because they're an entity.
If you're a paranormal investigator, you're constantly you're chasing after that, and people are asking you, "Hey, this place is haunted," or "This place is doing this. Can you come check it out?" And those things might follow you home, so you just never know. So, the only suggestion I could make is, make sure that we're invoking or banishing or cleansing, before you're doing it, even
spiritual hygiene,
you're doing that, whatever tradition that you're doing that with, however your filters are doing that, make sure that you're cleansing and making, cleansing yourself off of that, because sometimes
before and after.
Right. Absolutely. Somebody in there wanted a reading. Let's see.
Yep,
Lavola says, I would love a reading for me to help me guide my new hair team. Love. Hair team.
Yes. She is a goddess of hair and hair magician, or whatever you want to call it. I wish she could do my hair. Unruly thing on my head. I love it. There's the eye, the protective eye. right there. You know me and my eyes. I think I'm wearing one right now. So that's divine protection right there. If you look where it is on this, and it says your mind is an altar to source energy. And you know, what does that mean? It means if you vibe higher and you look to make this a positive venture, it will be successful. So the message, I think, for your team and for the whole dynamic is to let's vibe higher. Let's keep the vibe high and rely on source, because when you work with source, spirit, whatever you want to call it, right? When you work with that energy, you're operating from your heart space. And when you operate from your heart space and you do what you love, you can never go wrong. You automatically connect with that divinity, that source energy. And, you know, on earth here, we're always thinking, you know, what's my purpose? What's my purpose? And that's why, you know, with Joyful Empowerment, I tell people, hey, you know, listen to these people and their stories and how what brought them joy brought them to where they are today. And you're a perfect example. You love doing hair, you love doing that, and that's your passion, and that's what you're manifesting in your world. And that's amazing. So I think that's the message for your team, that this is a manifestation of love, you know, the passion for hair.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
God,
I need a new hairdresser.
Is this a second question or is it the same one?
I'm not sure. We had another question.
Okay, no, so to Lavola's original question. Okay.
Yeah, that was the original one from Lavola. Yeah, I'm just kind of, well, in the chat room, Mariana said she thanks us. She reads a lot. A lot of people are afraid of her, afraid to work with her. And let's see, in the chat room, Lavola says, thank you so much for inspiring message. Hit the spot. Absolutely. That's one thing I know that Joanne does really well.
You know, Mariana, I just want to say, just put some spiritual hygiene on, you know, before you go in and before you come out, and stay centered on your mission. If you keep that, if you align yourself with source energy, you're operating from your heart. And your heart space, you're not going to connect with anything. You got to be specific about the energies you want to allow around you, you know, that can actually connect with you directly. So
trying to keep the vibe high. Yeah, I like the vibe high. Optimistical thinking is good to have good frequency like.
And I have to clarify, you know, because I know there's somebody out there tapping their foot going, here we go. Love and light, vibe high. That is, you know, that doesn't mean that's going to be your mood all day. But are you going to strive to be in a bad mood all day, or are you going to strive to vibe higher? And that's what, especially today where the triggers are everywhere for everybody, nobody's excluded, right? You know, you want to be sure that you're not going to let every single thing upset your apple cart. You know, you have not only do you have a mission to your community in the outside world, but you have your personal mission. We have families to take care of, businesses to run, TV stations to run, people to book on podcast, like all different things, education, pay bills. We have all this stuff, you know, and are you gonna get stuck in that, you know, what's it all for? And it doesn't mean that you're not going to feel that some days or a lot of days lately. It just means you've set your mind to not stay in that thought process. Because believe me, I am not a light worker. That is not what I am. I'm just giving messages from my guides, and that is what I get. But I believe that what you put out there is what you get. Absolutely. And that's Witchcraft 101.
Everything has two opposing forces. You can't have one without the other.
Mm-hmm. Balance is a big key. You know, how do we keep balance in these times when every time, you know, you go online or you put on the news, you hear something like, it's like, I'm like, why does every day have to start like a Twilight Zone, you know? at this point, I just laugh sometimes because I'm like, of course, you know, like seriously.
Mhm.
Oh, you're welcome. Okay. That was you. I'm like, who's that? I can't
Yeah.
see the comments on the side. I don't know why. I just see them when they're on the screen. But yeah, it's hard to not, like I said, people are just so triggered by everything lately. Food, you know, travel, like anything. And it's hard. And you add it all in, and then just the stress of everyday life. I know today, I don't know, do you know what the Schumann resonance scale is, Harold?
Not a clue. Never heard of it. Tell me all about it.
It is a scale, and it's scientific. It is an official thing that measures the energy that people give off on the planet, life, right? It gives off an energy vibration, and they have a scale that actually measures it. And lately, the thing has been off the charts.
Wow.
And today was a very strong Schumann scale. And I had a headache most of the day. And then to top it off, there's something going on because of that polar vortex with barometric pressure or something like that.
Mhm.
Had a migraine all day.
Mhm.
And
I want to get to the chat room briefly.
oh, absolutely. Just cut me off.
Lavola said, our salon has been asked to remove the LGBTQ flag from our window. The morale needs to be kept in a positive place. Yeah, so I don't even know the half of that, but like I don't even, how can they tell you to remove that? It doesn't make any sense. And whoever's telling you to remove that, maybe they need to remove their self.
That's not a law that it's not allowed.
Yeah. Yeah. Also in the chat room, Mariana says, a lot of times I watch. You want to read it, Joanne?
No, if you can see it clearer than me, I'd rather you read it.
A lot of times I watch lives. The spiritual room opens up and I wind up giving people readings from beyond while watching other people's lives. The spirits reach out to me and give their loved ones a message. Sometimes it's scary for me. Yeah, of course it's scary. It can be scary. I think confidence is a good thing as long as you're entering a place of, you're purifying your place that you're working with and you're putting up your protections up. Personally, I put up protections using earth banishing pentagrams and rituals taken from the Golden Dawn and stuff. But that's just me. Lavola says, feels like we're pushing through. And someone who doesn't really comment that much here, Buddy, thanks for your comments here. I'm trying to find the light path again, but with constant body pain and depression, it's just so hard to do. Could I get a balanced reading of light and dark? I think Joanne would be more than happy to do that. I think Joanne would be more than happy to do that. We welcome Katie to Mind, Body, and Soul Witchcraft TV.
Hey, Katie.
Hey, Katie, how you doing? And she says, what the F? And I think the what the F is from them fellas trying to ask to remove the flag there at that salon. And
yeah, I don't understand that. Like, is that even allowed? Like, it's your, I don't know.
Probably not.
I'd just be a rebel and leave it up. I'd be like, make me.
Yeah, absolutely. Like,
but that could, it is it's her business, so that's a tough spot to be in, like, can they hurt her business?
Put out a bigger one.
Paint the whole place a rainbow.
Yep. So a reading for Buddy.
Yes. Okay, as above. Honesty is the best policy, buddy. So what this says and what I'm getting strongly is, what is your truth? If you stand in your truth, that's always the best way to raise your vibration. Standing in your truth, whatever that may be. And it's hard. You're in pain and you have a right to stand in that truth. And it's very valid. It's very hard to navigate through pain. And a lot of people have chronic pain. And a lot of it, as a holistic healer, I tell people, how are you lining up mentally, Are you talking to anybody? Do you have a therapist for the depression? Or even just somebody, a spiritual counselor, whatever that may be for you, to talk to on a regular basis, to help you navigate these thoughts, because it's normal to have those thoughts. When you're in pain all the time, it is not easy to be in a good mood all the time. Like today, like I was saying earlier with that migraine, I was cranky and I almost didn't want to come on, but you know what? I did what I did. I got in the shower. I had something to eat, some coffee. I did my class before I came on. I wasn't even going to do that. And I feel better. And being around and helping people makes me feel better. It raises that energy. So maybe, can changing your diet a little bit help you. There's some really great Tai Chi recommendations that I have that are easy for people that are in pain and don't require contortionism or doing a lot of things really, really fast. I give them to my clients and they seem to like it. It helps them move energy and release some of that pain. But on the part, standing in your truth, that is your light. You being who you are and being an honest, just good person. That's your light. Okay. So below, let's see what's below. Living with purpose brings prosperity, right? So again, I think if you find something that brings you joy or something, it doesn't mean you have to, go out. Your purpose could be, feeding homeless people or helping animals or helping kids in need, volunteering some time at the rec center, helping people, getting out of your element. That's going to help balance that dark side by living with your purpose and what you love to do. Even if that's magic, if that's reading cards, if that's talking to people, that's my thing. I love talking to people and figuring out ways to help them get through these spots. Never going to be depressed and your pain's going to go away. I can't say those things, right? It's not right. So by living in your truth and being ethical and doing what you love, your pain, that's going to be a lot on your medical team, right? And what you put into your body. Our diets, I know, and it's hard to eat good right now because food is so expensive. And my joints, I've had a talk with Harold. I'm like, I feel like the Tin Man when I get up in the morning. And that's the honest to God's truth. And it hurts. And I never felt that way before. And I notice if I'm not eating right, now that I'm older, it affects it. I hurt more, and I'm not laughing at your problem at all. I'm just saying that a lot of it is going to be you balancing yourself out. You know what I mean? Yes, you're going to feel shitty. But again, like I said earlier, is it because are you going to decide, okay, I'm going to stay depressed and sad and in pain all the time? Is that the decision or the choice you're going to make? Or are you going to choose, when I say vibe higher, I'm not saying toxic positivity. Ooh, everything's going to be great. No, I'm asking, are you making a choice? Because a choice is a decision, not a feeling. No matter how it might feel on any given day, I'm going to feel better. I'm going to strive to work to feel better, as opposed to I'm just going to keep being miserable. You know what I mean? Making a choice it might not feel good, making that choice to change your mindset is not easy. And it's not, there's no guarantees, but you're making a choice to make your day better, not worse.
Mm-hmm. Appreciate that, Joanne. And we're going to take a quick commercial break from a really, really cool show that's right here on www.witchcrafttv.online. And they're about to have a brand new season. Check them out, Oculus Alchemy.
Merry meet and greetings. You're watching Oculus Alchemy, a program that explores art, truth, and magic. My name is Judy Pashota, And I am your host. Joining us to open our third season of Oculus Alchemy is sleep hypnosis workshop facilitator and author, Sarah Janes. You don't want to miss this.
Fantastic dreaming gives your life this kind of richness, this complexity, this joy and ecstasy.
For our book club interview, author Lara Van Sidem talks about her outstanding title, Soul, A Modern Guide to Evolving in a Conscious Universe.
The first thing to be aware of is that linear time is an artifice that's been created for humanity to give us meaning in this physical world that we are literally dreaming up.
We are delighted to catch up with James Jacob Pieri, also known as Osset Gypsy, where we discuss his fabulous tarot deck, his upcoming release, and so much more. Check it out.
And Osset Gypsy then bloomed into so many things. And one of the most important things it bloomed into over 20 years later was my tarot deck.
And we are back at Witchcraft TV, Mind, Body, and Soul with Joanne. And Joanne opted out. Not so sure where she went. Hopefully she'll be back. But Buddy in the chat room had said, I'm a better listener than a talker. And Joanne is back right now. And Lavola says, Claire Lily. Oh, okay. Not sure what that means. But yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what Claire Lily means either. I'm sorry. I'm resetting myself here to. Oh my God. Where did you go?
We're here. You were freezing up a little bit, and that's to be, it happens with our tech gremlin.
You know, we all know how the tech gremlins play with Joanne and her. It's always Mercury retrograde. Jim and I actually did our first show during a Mercury retrograde, and it has remained in our in our show every time there's issues getting on, off.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Oh, she was tagging someone, she said.
Yeah. We appreciate it. Anytime you share Witchcraft TV's Witchcraft TV Tarot like sections or any one of our any of our content, we're very grateful.
So I hope that helped, Buddy. I'm not, it's hard when you're navigating that type of thing.
Like I said, always do my best to see the positive side. And I think it's important to be optimistic. We live in a real cruel world. People are real cruel. They're mean, you know, and like attracts like. So if you're mean, you're around mean people, and they just need to be mean somewhere else.
Yeah, you're going to find more of that. I did that, I did an experiment, and I tell people limit your social media time, because I did, and I can't be off of it all the time, obviously, for obvious reasons. But I limit and I've stuck to it pretty much for the most part. I limited my social media time at first to just doing stuff for the show. And I did it for like a month. And let me tell you, the content of my timeline drastically changed. I was no longer getting like those political and argumentative and hate posts. Like, my timeline started filling up with more of what I wanted to resonate myself with, like learning things, different classes, different practitioners that we work with in the community. I started having access to more of that. And I have stuck with it now. And now I only go on in the morning for the most part. I have a routine that I do. I have a morning group that I'm a part of. I'll get on. I'll maybe do some posts after that. During the day, if it's a message or something that's pressing, I look. And then I jump on again at night, usually before I go to bed. And it has kept my timeline pretty balanced. And I think we all need a break. It's sensory overload.
Yeah, sensory overload, too much of the same thing can kind of consume you. All this negativity in one, it can be. Yeah, and sensory overload, like particularly with like emotions, like I never know. Sometimes I have to remind myself that I'm even sad or happy. You know, I don't even realize that I'm sad or happy. So I have to like.
Yeah.
Self-awareness is a big one. Know
Well,
thyself.
true. We all jump in those rabbit holes. Next thing you know, a half an hour's gone, and you're like, "What did I just do?"
Well,
And I noticed a drastic drop because I don't know if your phone does it, but mine tells me every week it gives me a report on how much time I've spent on my phone, and just by doing that alone, I dropped, I think it was 18 hours of device time on average. That's a lot. And I mean, that's counting your texting. It's not just you being on social media or Facebook. It's just you being on that device for any reason whatsoever, you know? So it was pretty interesting how much time you gain back to focus on better things. And I'm not saying toxic positivity. That's just a falsehood because you're human. You're going to have bad days and you're going to feel bad and you're going to feel emotions. And it's how you deal with those emotions. And that's what I'm hoping to do here with Harold is give people some healthy coping strategies to get through these things, you know?
nothing wrong with giving out helpies.
No, helpies. I'm here for help. I'm here to helpies you. But
I like how you empower people. I think that's your greatest gift, Joanne.
well, thank you so much. I'm trying to be more gracious, accepting compliments because that's always so hard for me. It is. I'm like, oh, but thank you. It makes me feel good to hear that I make people feel good. And I've had a lot, like I am truly blessed. Like this week, I got blessed by quite a few people that appreciated me helping them, you know, and it was pretty cool. And it felt good to say, wow, I actually made an impact on these people. And that feels good.
So we got about 3 more minutes left to the Mind, Body, and Soul for Monday. And I want to ask you a closing. Joanne, what is the best way and how can you empower people? What are good ways to empower people?
Empowering people is really simple. It's actively listening to what they're saying because most people just want to be heard. And a big form of that is validation. Doesn't mean you agree with them, but you're validating them, that you've heard them. And a lot of times I just reach out and say, I'm listening, or I validate them. Like I understand, I hear you, or I see you. And a lot of times that's what a person needs to just keep them from going over that, crossing that line till you're, you know, either into a severe depression, sometimes crisis mode, and things like that. The best thing that you can do to do that is to balance your mindset. Take a few minutes every day and just before you react. 20 seconds, you know, you don't have to be a big meditator.
Right.
You know, and that's what you want to do to keep that healthy mindset, you know. Do what you love. That's another one. Do something that brings you joy. By empowering others, you're going to empower yourself. After I get off a session like this, whether it be inside the Sacred Circle, Joyful Empowerment, or Mondays, I feel great after. I am energized. That energy, that vibration is just lifted. Just like when you get off a weekend at WitchCon or one of these other, you know, or Paracons or whatever that goes on, and you come back and you're all, ooh, you know, and that's what brings me joy. And that's what helps me to talk to people. And I just like to listen to people, and I ask them questions and hopefully help them see that they've had the answer all along.
I think we should make a helpy spell.
That would be great.
Next week on Mind, Body, and Soul, the helpy spell with Joanne, Lone Wolf.
Yes.
The helpy spell.
So you can empower others very easily. Just say, hello, you look nice today. Or your gift, like what you just said, that was empowering.
Yeah. Very easy. It's very easy to to bring joy to people if you yourself are joyful. So empowering other people, I guess maybe one should try to empower yourself too, because you're
working with at-risk youth has helped me learn a lot of things. You know,
more helpies.
They just, people just want to be heard, and they want to be validated, and they want to know that somebody cares, that somebody, that their voice matters.
Well, that about wraps it up for Mind, Body, and Soul, Witchcraft TV with Joanne. I hope everybody joins us next Monday where we talk and cast our spells for the helpies. Keep it right here, www.witchcrafttv.online. We are fair representation of all pagan, witch, and magic paths. Do you feel something huge on the horizon?
Oh, absolutely. We're in for very big changes with the changes of the nodes, and as a collective, we've been talking about this a lot in the ISFM in our morning group, that we need to make room for what's coming in, because what's coming in is not what we're used to, and we have to be open to that change. And what is it with most people? We resist change, because it's fear. We'd rather stick with what we know, even if it's toxic sometimes, because we know how to navigate that. Toxic is familiar, and as sick as that sounds, we tend to do that a lot of times as people. It's like, because people are like, why do people always go back to their ex, or why do they stay in that bad relationship? Because, again, with these weird word analogies, the devil is better than the devil you know.